we'll talk about resume mistakes now. So we're done with the video introduction. The part three of our discussion today is the common mistakes on resumes and how to fix them. Okay. We'll also show you well composed resumes and give you tips and tricks on how to create one yourself. Okay. So trivia here. What do you think recruiters or clients, how do you think or how long do you think recruiters or clients themselves, CEOs, spend reading resumes? I would say that because we know CEOs or clients know already what they're looking for when they're assessing everything, whether that's paper, video, or whatnot, they just spend an average time of 7 seconds, 5 to 7 seconds, looking at everything, looking at your resume. Okay. So for me, my goal is to help you understand how do you get past that 7 second stage? How do you make sure that the person reading it will spend a little bit more time looking at it? Okay. And what else? If you have spelling or grammar mistakes, that five within 5 to 7 seconds, that person can already identify that just by looking at it. Okay. And it will be in the trash can right away in just a matter of seconds. And there's 100%, of course, job rejection rate if your CV looks unpleasant, unprofessional, your fonts are so dramatic, everything is in bold, it's so unpleasant and not so pleasing in the eyes. That's 100% job rejection right there. Okay, so which means that you just wasted your time. Okay, resume mistakes. So let's make sure that you go past that 7 seconds by not copying and pasting job descriptions. Copying and pasting job descriptions. I've seen resumes before where the job descriptions, you can tell that they were just copied because there's no consistency on the rest, on the other ones that followed. Okay. And it's more personalized, like the second, third job were more personalized and then or the thing that's being showcased here, the job, which is the job description, it's just a copy and paste thing. It's first of all, it's a bad thing for your integrity, and or you probably would make it, but during the time that you're going to be interviewed, you cannot even articulate what you did on your previous job. But on your resume, it was so grand but it was just so nice and grand, all because you pasted a job description from somewhere. Okay, so write your own resume. You can probably, when you're looking at job descriptions online, you can probably take out some words in there and incorporate it to what you are describing, keywords that matches your experiences in the past, and then incorporate it to your own job description when you're describing your previous roles, the previous roles that you've held. Okay, so be true to yourself when you are writing your resume. After all, it's your resume. Okay, next, if you're giving vague employment dates and you have the wrong work order, or the order of work experiences is not reverse chronological, meaning the most previous should be on top and then the rest would follow. If you're doing that, or you're not giving a month and date, you're just saying 2017 to 2018, again, within 5 seconds, your resume lands in the shredder. All right. And it's not, I'm telling you this because in just one job ad, we're going to be assessing 70 to 100 candidates. And we just want to make sure that we get to pick the person who make that impression that he or she is the one. Again, plus responsible, right? So if you give vague employment dates, you're probably not sure. You probably give that wrong impression, then that you don't even spend time. You can't even spend like an hour of your time really scrutinizing what kind of resume or video introduction you're submitting. Okay. What else? Failing to identify or highlight relevant experiences. So you can submit a good fixed resume by taking your time once again, by reviewing all the details in your resume. If it really matches you, matches your character, your personality, if it really matches your past experiences, there's really similarity, you believe in your heart of hearts that if there is a similarity, then you are in for the job. You need to prepare for the job, and You need to be able to write, showcase that in your resume. Okay. So, more usual than not, of course, people would go for the candidate who have relevant experiences, who have experiences, especially in this virtual assistant job. And it's being described on the job ad. So make sure that you're sure that the responsibilities that you see there are relevant to yours. If you're applying for an executive assistant or a virtual assistant, but all your jobs before were about being a graphic designer, um, or somebody who's managing social media, and when you read the bullets, there's nothing there where you assisted somebody before and all that, you're not gonna be making it, because there's, again, the competition is tight when you're in a job application. Next, if you're giving a summary or objective that does not make sense, that's a bad thing for you. Okay, because the summary right there is always on top, or the objective is always on top. Some call it value statement or whatnot. If you're applying for a virtual assistant role, for example, would you want to be clear on your intentions? Saying that you're part of the leadership role, that's fine. Saying that you want to go ahead and be promoted and utilize your skills and lead people, but you're applying for an executive assistant role, that just goes to show that you didn't update your resume. Okay, because you're not going to have that leadership role in being an EA for that CEO. All right, you're not. So it may not be the job for you, but you submitted it anyway with a summary or objective that doesn't make sense. All right. How about getting too cute with the design? Getting too cute with the design, meaning don't get all too colorful, artful, because your resume would already look like a drawing project in elementary. It's such a sore in the eyes too if it's too bright. It's too distracting for the reader. And again, your resume goes in the shredder right away if that's what you submitted. Next is including a photo. Including a photo is not necessary in resumes. In Western countries or in first world countries, they actually even look at the photo. If you submit a photo, that's a source of discrimination. You may not be hired because no, you put a photo there that you're fat or you're black, because in the United States, your discrimination and all, they sue people for that and whatnot. The racial discrimination is so apparent, and you don't want to go ahead and do that anyway. In terms of applying as a virtual assistant, you already have your video introduction anyway, so that's where you're probably gonna have to stand out. So don't include a photo on your resume. How about the font types, distracting colors? It's the same with getting too cute with the design, the arrangement, and all that, right? So a resume must be readable and comprehensive, probably with a font type of a 10, maybe at least 10. Um, it should be readable. The font should be not italicized, maybe Calibri. Calibri font would do. Do not use many different fonts, types, and sizes. Okay, be very careful when you're using bold and italic. The look and feel of your resume should be consistent and comprehensive. So ask yourself before clicking on submit, does it look like it's presentable? Does it look like I'm the one? I'm the one who's organized, neat, efficient, and what else? Responsible. Yeah. I will keep on saying that over and over again so that you you would remember those words when you're applying for a job. How about sending an old and not updated resume, folks? Sending an old and not updated resume would really put you into a lot of trouble. You should revisit your resume at least once a year, or maybe if you're currently employed, maybe you need to be able to update that with your career updates, important career updates. When information becomes out of date, of course, you need to be able to update that before submitting it. Okay, so you should refresh your resume as often as possible. And what if you're in an interview and then you're sharing an experience that a role that you've held for a year last year, and then all of a sudden, and I've experienced that maybe at least 3 times last year, and I was kind of getting confused because I'm not seeing it on the resume. Remember, when you're being interviewed, the person is actually multitasking. Looking at your resume, looking at everything, your DISC profile. If you're familiar with DISC profile, it's a personality assessment, which is free online. And yeah, and somebody, I asked somebody, why is, hold on, I'm confused. You're sharing something that I don't see on your resume. And the person said, oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to update my resume. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, that's an equivalent. I don't know. It's a damn shame that I'm gonna share to you right now. It's a lack of interest in the position that you're applying for. If you can't be bothered to update your resume, um, um, why would you even try to waste somebody's time? I would normally be honest in an interview and I would say, okay, please update your resume on your new job application. I hope that this is what you're going to do. So, me, I'm nice. And for sure, a lot of people can attest to that. I give them tips. I spend 15, 20 minutes giving them tips and tricks in order for them to get to the next level, which is to make it during the interview. and and of course I recognize that your resume actually looks nice, comprehensive, readable. Your video introduction is nice, but then again, you're probably not yet serious about it. You may not be ready yet. Okay, so when you're submitting something, put your heart into it. You don't just feel that maybe I can be lucky that I'll get this job. No. Again, the recruiter knows exactly what he or she is looking for. And it takes just few seconds to assess everything. And during the interview, it takes just few seconds to mess it up. Okay, so update your resume. Also, another thing that comes across as lack of interest in the position is when you don't properly proofread your resume, meaning you can't even tweak your resume. It just looks like a resume that you're applying for a call center job. No. Or you cannot be bothered to proofread your resume, and it's shown because of the grammar and spelling mistakes that are there. All things being equal, the candidate who best represents their experience, how it's formatted, the interest, how it's all clean, neat, organized, the positions are all there. The job offer will come right there for that person. Okay. So trying to apply for jobs, you need to be able to update it per job that you're applying for. Why? Because each job has different scope of responsibilities, different demands, and there are probably a lot of experiences in your mind that are relevant to you, what you're applying for. But if you fail to update your resume again and tweak it to basing it on the job description that you're looking for, you're not going to make it. All right. Another thing that I would want to share is, I think I shared that earlier. It lacks shows lack of seriousness and care from the applicant if you can't even be bothered to update your resume and you go into that interview and then you say you forgot to update it. Very important, guys. All right, I'm gonna show it to you some examples here on this slide. And the reason why this one on the left is a bad CV example and the one on the right is actually a good one is so obvious. It's italic, all italic on the first one. I would say that the curriculum vitae is the one that's bold instead of the name of the applicant, right? And while David Gibbons is like straightforward, I would look at this kind of profile or resume because it's comprehensive, it looks neat and organized. Okay, so I would be bothered to actually read it. All right, just by looking at it, the look and feel of your resume, you would already know if you are the one, if he or she is the one. These ones are also examples of resumes that wouldn't make it. They're not going to be asked for an interview. They're not going to receive that first progress, that there's a progress, that first indication that there's a progress in their application, which is the interview. Why? Because look at their career objectives. On the left, the career objective is actually indented. I don't know why, but you wouldn't even bother to read it. The spacing, there's a problem with the spacings just by looking at it. There, the first 5 seconds is done, isn't it? The next one is this person couldn't be bothered to update his or her resume. In fact, it says there trainer, trainer, trainer. The person or the client would already get turned off by looking at the resume that says trainer, trainer, trainer. And this person that applied for the job is actually applying for the virtual assistant job. Of course, you're not going to be able to make it on the first filtering stage of recruitment. All right. How about this one? Um, hold on. This one looks like there's a lollipop on, on the resume. There's a Crayola. There's a camera. There's a watch. Okay, so it already distracted me from checking her work experiences and education that's being highlighted here. Okay, so remember, guys, when you're applying for the job, the person who wants to employ you or give you that part or role is wanting to see if you can do it or not. Would you be able to do it or not? Can you do it? Can you submit work that's not distracting? Can you do it? Do you have that can do attitude? But I appreciate the effort in putting it out like this. But I told one person before who I know, one of my colleagues in the office-based jobs that I had before, I told him to actually change his resume because it looks similar to this. All right. And I know you want to get all creative and all that, but it's not necessary. So if you're a graphic design, for example, a designer, a social media manager, or somebody who's doing digital marketing, for example, go ahead and put up your own portfolio and submit that separately, but don't mess up your resume like this. All right. Straightforward. This one is a straightforward kind of template. It has your name, it has a summary of who you are, it has your professional histories there, and then your educational history. It would be nice also to put there your achievements, your awards, so that the person would feel that you will do the job well, all because you're very competitive, that you were able to achieve something, that you are an interesting person. So make it as clean and not so complicated as how you see it here on the template that I'm showing you right now on this slide. Okay. We have resume builders that are available online, folks. So you have canva.com, you have LinkedIn. LinkedIn is I like LinkedIn because when you build your profile on LinkedIn, there's a button there on the top right portion, I believe. You click there and you would say upload resume. So whatever you put as your profile in LinkedIn, you can upload it as your resume. We also have a template, which we share normally to all our VAs who are applying or who make it for before they go for final interviews. We actually help VAs arrange how they present themselves, whether they need to change their video resume. We coach them on that. We coach them on how to fix their resume and their introduction rather. And we give them templates so that they can present themselves so well in front of the client. Okay. Steady.com is also another source of resume builder. So do your research on whatever free resume builder is out there for your own consumption. This one is actually an example of a Canva resume template. You can go ahead and get the template there and then just go supply it provided with a lot of information about you. And then you'll come up with a resume like this, which is easy on the eyes, readable, and all that. Okay. LinkedIn resume sample, just like what I mentioned earlier, you'll see LinkedIn to be like this. There are even like what do you call that? Visuals or logos of the companies are even going to be here. So when you upload your resume from your LinkedIn, it will be uploaded like this. And again, very professional. It's professionally done. So spend your time, put your heart into it when you are completing your resume. Template is very simple. It just looks like this. You're going to be given a sample, and you're going to be asked to do this to do it the same way. That are um, important to or urgent to share under each professional experiences, and then summary of qualifications, and then maybe a value statement on top. And if you want to make it beyond this, then go ahead. But this is the simplest template that we could share. That's going to be easy and pleasant on the eyes of the clients.